Hey everybody, how you doing? I went to my Social Security website this morning and checked on the progress of my application for benefits for disability. And as you can see here, I am now at 20%. That means that somebody has supposedly been through 20% of my application. Just a quick refresher, when you apply for Social Security disability benefits, it takes about 6 months for your application to be reviewed, and then it's either approved or denied. Now, also, once your application is approved, then they go back to your event date. So the way this works is my application date was on April 15th. My event was on April 2nd. So April 2nd was my stroke. That's the beginning of the time frame as far as Social Security is concerned. Since we're only talking 2 weeks from April 2nd to April 15th, my application date versus the stroke date, we're going to forget about those 2 weeks. We're just going to be looking at April 15th. So it takes 5 to 6 months for your application to be reviewed, and then there's a 5-month waiting period from the approval of your application for disability based on the event date, which is actually the April 2nd, but we're going to look at April 15th. So 6 months from April 15th, which would be the time period needed to review the application, would be October 15th. Since there's a 5-month waiting period from the date of when your application has been approved going back to your event, then essentially the 6-month waiting period covers that period. So once I'm approved, say I'm approved in October, then the check should be automatically, maybe even backdated 1 month. So we're looking at a screenshot here of my application review process, and it says that typically it takes 171 days for a decision. That's 5.7 months. Okay, so that's a 6 month. We see that they processed 20% of my application. A representative in Kansas City, Missouri started reviewing your application on April 15th. That's when it was sent in. For most people, this review takes 2 to 4 weeks. We're at about 5 weeks at this date since my application has been submitted. So we're already past the 2 to 4 week period. Now, I'm not sure what that 2 to 4 weeks mean. Does it mean that usually the application is actually reviewed in a 2 to 4 week period, but then there is the 171 days until the decision is made? Now, here's the thing. I don't think that somebody's actually been through 20% of my application. I think this progress bar is just a representation of maybe the 171 days. You know, somebody may have been through my application already and it's either been approved or it's ready for approval or denial. I'm not sure. I'm not going to get too worried about it. It's going to take 6 months before I know the answer, but hopefully the answer is yes. I mean, I don't see why. As of right now, 20% or 1/5 of my application has been reviewed, and I've heard nothing back from the Social Security Administration saying, hey, there's a problem or we need more information. And along that lines, talking to Jill, the lady with financial aid at Story County Medical Center, you know, if I get something that they need, like maybe a copy of my birth certificate or something like that, you know, I will get that to her, and then she can forward that on to Kansas City and then get the process, you know, continued. 20% with no flags, no communication from Social Security saying we need this or this doesn't seem to be filled out right is great news that we're 1/5 through the process with no communication from Social Security, and I consider that a good thing. All right, guys and gals, just want to keep you up to date. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and hope to see you next time.